what we're seeing now is it's almost like organized crime. All of the claimants are living in the same apartment building in the Bronx.
Welcome to Trust Talks, an Insurtech Insights podcast hosted by ClearSpeed. I'm your host, Danny Ngsikwan. With these conversations, we're exploring the notion of trust as a competitive advantage. What are the barriers to greater efficiency, profitability, and consumer loyalty? And how does all of that ladder back to building trust? We have Richard Wolff, Managing Director of Casualty Claims at Markel, with us today. He's also a recovering lawyer. Richard, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Really looking forward to our conversation today.
As am I.
So I'm going to get into it. Insurance is for profit industry. Where do you see money being left on the table from your perspective?
So I think as an industry, we've not necessarily been cooperative enough, competitive, but not cooperative. So when we're talking about what we can do to improve business, what we can improve consumer satisfaction, I think we need to be cooperatively competitive in a way that, yes, we're competing for business on the front end, but on the back end in claims, we're all kind of in the same boat. We need to do a better job of rowing in the same direction.
Yes.
So I think that prevents us as an industry from combating the fraud piece.
Yes.
I think it prevents us from effectively tackling and combating social inflation and nuclear verdicts. So I think that competitive cooperation
yes,
is something I think as an industry we can do better.
What does that look like, the competitive cooperation?
So for me, in my role at Markel, it's the lawyers who represent our insureds working together.
Yep.
The plaintiff's bar is very organized, very cooperative. They share information. And historically, the defense side of that has not done it. If you know a person who maybe examined a witness, you can get a transcript, but there isn't a central repository what the plaintiff shared. And so there is an ongoing effort in New York, and kind of came out of, if you've seen the New York RICO, that tradesman kind of kicked off, there has been a cooperative effort by a great number of the lawyers to work together to identify red flags and things that can be used effectively to combat fraud. And now that group of lawyers, they're looking at standing up a group in Florida and in Texas and in California. So the goal is that we on the defense side, on the insurer side, work better to combat fraud through cooperation.
Yes. I want to dig into the fraud piece a little bit there. There's an impact, of course, on the insurer, but also on the consumer. Can you dig into that a little bit for us and what you're seeing?
Yeah, so my recovering lawyer for 15 years, I defended for insurers in New York.
Yeah.
In the 5 boroughs, doing a lot of construction. And that New York civil RICO is surrounding the construction.
Yes.
And because of the nuclear verdicts that came out of that for 20 years, and I went bore this audience with New York labor law, it's probably a topic for this conversation, but the settlements in the verdict became astronomical.
Yep.
What we're seeing now is it's almost like organized crime. All of the claimants are living in the same apartment building in the Bronx. So the carriers, and we're encouraging our lawyers to play nice in the sandbox with the other lawyers, whether it's Markel lawyers or any other carriers lawyers. If you have something that can help the defense of one of these claims, we should be sharing it as an industry.
Yes.
And we've started to see, and I think the lawyers that are engaged in this have started to see the numbers come down.
Right.
Effectively.
Yep. And so I guess if we think about, there is especially if there's an organized aspect to it, the fraud piece, ultimately for genuine consumers, they get impacted by that. Is rates have to go up to kind of make up the difference there. So, what does that do to our system?
Well, I think the there's a cost to doing business,
Yes.
right? Insurance is a big part of that. Insurance protects the public,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
In every context, right?
Yes.
In the property context, in the casualty context, it's designed to protect the consumer. And I'm not suggesting that there shouldn't be fair and reasonable compensation for injured people,
Yes.
right? The system is designed for that, and I fully support it and encourage it. It's where we seem to have gone off the rails is
Right.
where a certain population has started to take significant advantage of that.
Yes.
And now the cost to a construction company to get insurance has risen,
Yes.
which means the cost for them to quote the business to a property owner or homeowner has to increase exponentially,
Yes.
right? Because let's face it, insurance is a business,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And I think I think everybody understands that, right? So I think the common consumer, for the people in New York, all over YouTube and TV, about maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago, there was a video of a fraudulent car accident that hit all over. I think it made the New York Post.
Yeah.
It was a group of people just stopped their car, got out, and said, "On purpose." And the car that they claimed hit them had a dash cam that captured the whole thing,
Yep.
and it never happened. Right? I would hope that the responsible person in our community says that's wrong.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You would hope.
You would hope that. And also, the majority of the genuine consumers then have to, kind of deal with the implications from the bad acting few in that case. And you would hope, but, we do see social inflation, hardening economy, all that stuff. There's more opportunistic fraud because people maybe who wouldn't typically make that decision, now they're in hard times. Oh, can I just exaggerate this a little bit because I need a little bit more? So again, you find folks in that gray area, maybe more than we would have or would get to.
100%.
And then, from your perspective and thinking about claims, then you've yes, want to build the trust with the consumer, but then you've got to also trust that consumer in what they're submitting to you. To your point, that's exactly what we're talking about. And if there was a way to trust that information more quickly, what would the impact be then on business, on processes, on costs?
I think that's a very pertinent question for where we're sitting today, Danny.
Yes.
In this technology, I just walked around a little bit,
yes.
and the AI capability that I've seen just in a little bit of time is fascinating to me. I am not a technology person, but if one of the folks I spoke to was, their AI has fraud detection
right
aspect to it. It can differentiate between, acute damage in a property and old wear and tear.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm going to make a property claim. I'm going to get my whole house repaired, not just the part that broke, right? And so I think when we're in this technology environment, all of that brings efficiency to the claim process, right? As much as I don't like to admit that computers are faster than humans, we all know they are.
Come on.
And so if we can streamline and expedite the process piece of it,
yes,
it speeds up the claim. Doesn't take, and I don't believe should take the human element out of it.
Yes.
But I think if the AI and the technology can do the things that slow down the human,
yes,
that can be, adequately replaced. It gives the human aspect more time to do the customer experience piece and to do the analytical piece and the human piece that sometimes the AI can't touch.
Absolutely. And I think that's likely a question many folks are grappling with, what is the right blend of tech and human? And, there's that underlying, is tech or AI going to replace my job? Absolutely not. Working together, if anything, to more empower the person. And you and I were talking just before this that there is something about speaking to a human and the empathy that's required in a very vulnerable situation that can't be replicated by tech.
100%. And, I think that as an industry, and I think most industries are challenged by this, there has to be a proper balance between the technology and the AI and the human connection.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because when it gets hard, or when you don't understand the decision that's being presented to you by whatever business you're dealing with, you want to talk to somebody.
Yes.
You don't want the bot telling you the answer. You don't want to sit in the queue for 4 hours. You don't want to, hey, leave your number and we'll call you back. You don't want that because you're mad, you're fragile, you're exposed. If it's your home or your car that's been damaged, you need that to live.
Yep.
So I think that what I hope is the industry continues to think about the significant role that people play, right? And I say to my team all the time, right? It's much easier to explain your position if you actually talk to somebody than if you just keep emailing me or IMing me. My kids left, if they listen to this, they would say to me, I spoke to so-and-so. And I'd say, well, I'm sitting on the couch with you. I haven't heard any sound. Well,
right.
and they do that, right? They do the thumbs. And I'd say, that's not speaking to somebody. You get so much out of actually talking to someone.
Yes.
And I think when we're talking about the customer experience, we always have to be aware that the people that need that people that are in the insurance claims process
yes,
are damaged somehow.
Yes.
And they want to be talked to and they want to be treated like a human being.
Yes.
Respect.
Yes, absolutely. There's nothing really that replaces that connection. And also thinking about different types of customers today, it's about meeting them where they are, and in the way that they need. So it's I'm with you there. So with considering everything we've talked about, to wrap us up, Rich, if there's something you would say to leaders listening, either that they should be doing now, some kind of takeaway, something you want to implore to other industry leaders, what might that be?
I think, Danny, it goes back to my last point. I think as my workforce on my team gets younger, obviously, right, and they're so technology based and they're so used to communicating through an email. I think keeping a focus on people,
yes,
and old-fashioned traditional lines of communication, and impressing on folks that drives a successful customer experience.
Yes,
right. It's the people-to-people piece that someone will walk away from, and in some crazy survey will say, I had a great experience because Danny picked up the phone and talked to me.
Right. Yeah. I love that. And in this vein, having this conversation with you directly, like there's nothing like it. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you. I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you so much for being here, Rich.